The Scott Peterson case had it all: a tragic victim, debate in the press, and perhaps most famous of all, a mistress. Even though it's how the public may know her, Amber Frey is more than just a side character in a true crime drama. Over the course of her relationship with Scott Peterson, Amber Frey's life went from a perfect love story to a deadly nightmare. But early on, everything appeared to be all sunshine and rainbows, with Frey testifying in 2004 about Peterson. "He was easy to talk to. He made me feel comfortable." The facade began to crack when Peterson's relationship history changed from never having been married before to having recently become a widow, which is a pretty sizable red flag on its own. But Frey claimed that the illusion was completely shattered on December 29, 2002, when a friend called to tell her Peterson was the man whose pregnant wife, Lacey Peterson, had been reported missing on Christmas Eve. Frey met a detective at the Modesto Police Department the following day, agreeing to secretly tape hours of phone conversations with Peterson, pressing him about his wife in the hopes of getting a confession. In the media circus that followed, rumors began circulating that Peterson had a mistress who had been involved in Lacey's disappearance. In an attempt to clear her name, Frey revealed herself in January 2003.
"I am very sorry for Lacey's family and the pain that this has caused them."
That April, everyone's worst fears were confirmed when the bodies of Peterson's wife and unborn child were found and Scott was finally arrested. The trial began in June 2003, but Frey wasn't called to testify until August 2004. After several days on the witness stand, Frey's testimony played a pivotal role in convincing the jury that Peterson committed the crime to be with her. On November 12, 2004, Scott was convicted of first-degree murder of his wife and second-degree murder of their baby and sent to death row. Before Amber Frey knew about Scott Peterson's true nature, she introduced him to her daughter on their second date. As Frey would later testify, she and Peterson picked her up at school, then all of them went hiking together. During the excursion, Peterson played the part of a perfect father figure and even gifted her a book. The next day, Peterson picked her daughter up from daycare, and that evening they bought and decorated a Christmas tree together. In yet another chilling moment during this ordeal, Peterson reportedly told Frey he had never come close to having kids himself. Frey later added another member to her family in the midst of the media circus that was the Scott Peterson trial, giving birth to a baby boy in April 2004. And no, Peterson was not the father. Just 4 months after giving birth, she was on the witness stand. In an example of how relentless a mother's job is, Frey's attorney, Gloria Allred, informed reporters that Frey had to fit in breastfeeding her newborn during breaks in her testimony. For those who don't know the specifics of the trial, they may not be aware of just how pivotal Frey's testimony was. The prosecution had spent 3 months trying to convince jurors of Peterson's guilt and had completely failed. But after Frey's 5-day stint on the witness stand, which included 12 hours of secretly recorded phone calls with Peterson, it was a different story.
Once Amber comes into the picture, it's the game changer. Now, Mr. Perfect is a liar and a cheat.
As defense attorney Daniel Horowitz told People shortly after Frey's testimony, "We were in the 7th inning and the score was 5-0 for the defense. Now it's 5-5 and the bases are loaded." It should come as no surprise that with Frey playing such an important part in a story that the media and public couldn't get enough of, she was offered a book deal. What may come as a surprise, however, is just how quickly she got it out. Less than 2 months after Scott Peterson was convicted, Frey's 210-page account of the ordeal hit store shelves. Titled Witness for the Prosecution of Scott Peterson, the book was a big hit with anybody who was secretly hoping to find out more about Frey's Baptist faith and her secret abortion in college. But for the other 99.5% of the population looking for some more juicy details about the case, the book was pretty dry on that front. Critics were quick to point out that there wasn't much additional insight into the case, but in spite of the complaints, Frey was proud of the result, telling SF Gate, "It allows me to tell my story in my voice. This is a way for me to set the record straight." Even if the record seemed straight enough already, the book still hit the number 2 spot on both the Amazon and Barnes & Noble bestseller lists the week it was released. While Frey's book was no critical darling, it was a definite hit from a sales perspective, and CBS quickly snapped up the rights for the book to turn it into a TV movie the same week that it hit bookshelves. Bella Bajaria, a CBS senior vice president, told Today it was a real coup to land the deal, saying, "Having the rights to her life story as well as her book provides an opportunity to tell new dimensions of the story. and give viewers a personal look into one of the most notorious crimes of the past decade. Wasting no time, the movie was released within months. Janelle Maloney of West Wing fame played Frey. Despite what must have been a great temptation to turn the movie into a cheesy thriller, the flick was actually praised by many viewers who were surprised by the high caliber of acting and how faithful the script was to the book. Others, though, took issue with how the film gave Frey a pass for her role in the affair. As a reviewer from Variety wrote, Amber Frey comes across more sympathetically than she probably has any right to be. Once the press tour for her autobiography was over, Amber Frey got right back to pursuing her career as a massage therapist. Jump to June 2007, and a 32-year-old Frey was able to open up her own spa, the Escape Day Spa in a suburb of Fresno, California. Frey's business eventually closed, though the exact timing is unclear. In 2015, Frey penned an essay for Today in which she gave an update on her life, with a focus on the hardships, including closing her small business. As Frey wrote, "I've dealt with my share of personal tragedy, losing my home during the real estate crisis. I ventured into opening my own business and had to pick up the pieces when it failed." Amber Frey may have landed a juicy supporting role next to Scott Peterson's starring role, but a year after his sentencing, she was able to land the leading role in her own scandal. As NBC News reported in September 2005, a DNA test had just confirmed that the man paying child support for her daughter was actually not the child's biological father. Unlike an episode of Maury, however, it didn't seem like the man paying child support, hairstylist Anthony Flores, was doing much celebrating. Flores had been giving Frey $175 a month for 4 years and didn't discover the truth until he went to court seeking visitation rights. Frey's attorney, Gloria Allred, told the public it was an honest mistake, saying, "Amber in good faith always believed that Mr. Flores was her child's father." However, apparently not having been won over by Janelle Maloney's portrayal of her, Flores told Daily News he felt like a fool for trusting Frey, saying, "She was very convincing when she told me I was the only person who could be the father. I want an apology." While it may not be the best look for Frey, don't go feeling too sorry for Flores. In 2023, he pleaded guilty to 9 felony charges after stealing $2.7 million from an ailing doctor for whom he was supposed to be a caregiver. And just to put a cap on this story, the actual father of Frey's child was Christopher Funch, the owner of Porky's Rib House, a Fresno restaurant and bar that was eventually torn down in 2019. Just over a decade after Scott Peterson's sentencing, Amber Frey revisited the ordeal and offered a life update during a 2015 interview with former Today Show host Matt Lauer. Frey revealed that she was still frequently recognized even 10 years later, saying, "It's not really ever gone away in that sense, that recognition." She added she and her 2 children were doing well, all things considered, and that she had no regrets about stepping into the spotlight.
As crazy as it sounds, as what came out and whatnot, that I would do it all over again because it wasn't about me.
It could definitely be argued that a lucrative book deal was one of the key things she would do all over again, but there's also no question that her testimony was an enormous part of what brought Laci Peterson and her unborn baby's killer to justice. Amber Frey almost had to live up to her word of doing it all over again. In October 2020, the California Supreme Court ordered a lower court to assess whether or not Peterson's case merited a retrial, 2 months after the same Supreme Court reversed Peterson's death penalty conviction and ordered a new sentencing trial. Ultimately, Peterson was resentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole in 2021, and the next year, a California Superior Court judge ruled that his guilty conviction should stand and a new trial would not go ahead. Fox News reached out to Frey a day after the decision, and she seemed to stay firm in her stance, saying in a statement via her attorney, "If I were called to testify, I would give truthful testimony again, for the truth doesn't change over time." A chance to mark the 20-year anniversary of Scott Peterson's conviction was simply too juicy for Netflix to pass up. In American Murder, Laci Peterson, Frey again opened up about her brief relationship with Scott, offering new insights into their courtship and the horrific way it ended. According to Frey, they often spoke of a future together, and even when he admitted to lying about being married before, she didn't make much of it. The relationship continued, and they even attended a Christmas party together on December 14th, the same night Laci Peterson went to their friend's holiday bash alone. Shortly after Laci's disappearance made news, Frey realized she had been completely deceived.
I was definitely in shock, couldn't stop crying, just in disbelief. Everything was a lie.
So far, Frey has spun being part of a tragic murder into a best-selling book, a TV movie, and now a job as an influencer. Frey used her spot on the list of history's most well-known mistresses to help her become a brand ambassador for Bucked Up, a fitness supplement brand founded in 2016. As to why the brand targeted Frey to shell for their products, that's a question best left to Bucked Up's marketing team.
Her?
It seems their partnership began around 2023, with Frey utilizing her social media accounts to flood her followers with content of her using Bucked Up products in the gym. As of this video, her Instagram bio also has links to free Bucked Up samples and affiliate links in an effort to earn some extra cash. Frey has even created a separate Amber Frey Bucked Up Ambassador Facebook page to try and sell more items, although she claims it's not about the money.